Hey, welcome back to the table. So we're going to start turn one here. And one of the things that was supposed to be done during setup is this top card actually gets revealed. And as I explained in setup, whichever direction this is oriented, you're supposed to preserve it to show that the archers are attacking from this direction. But I don't do that. I just do a D4 and I compare it to my chart, which is here. And I know it's a little misleading because 3 means they're coming from this direction, and but what we actually do is we do it this way. It was just poor drawing on our part, but so anyways, that's the way it's coming up. So what this is saying, and this is important information for the start of the game, is that the first wave of attacks is coming this way. And for season 1, this is the only card that gets revealed, but there's also this card here. It does not get revealed, but it will apply. Now the siege cards are really nasty. Don't get me wrong, they're very, very nasty. However, the siege cards tend to be ignored in the first scenario, and I'll explain what it means to be able to ignore them. Well, actually, we're going to explain it right now. We can do it with this example. So on these cards, you can see here it says 6, 18, and 34. So this is like, it's a really brilliant system that the designers came up with. So if we're in the final stages of the game and this card comes up, somebody might be sitting at 34 points because gold is points in this game, right? So 34 could be enough to, they're winning the game. They have 34. And then somebody else could have 18 or something in the middle like 20. So what you do is you look at those charts, and whichever column applies to you, that's how many troops are attacking you. So if I happen to have 1 to 5 gold, but not 6, I get to ignore the card completely. That's what I mean by ignore. If I have 6 to 17, then I would come with 0 swordsmen and then 2 archers are attacking me, because the card is called archers. If I have 18 to 33, I'm going to get 1 swordsman and 3 archers. That's what's going to be attacking me from that direction. And then if I have 3 swordsmen and 4 archers, they would be attacking me. Now, before we play this game, it is extremely important to understand combat. I'm going to try to teach us the way I would teach somebody, that's sitting at the table, because that's what you're doing. You're sitting at the table. So let's take that example of, we know that 2 archers are coming from this direction, right? So I'm going to put 2 archers down, and they're coming from this direction. Now, this guy is sitting differently on the table, right? You can see his the south side of his castle is here, and the way that card works is they're coming from this direction. So for him, the archers, they're coming from my west, but they would be coming from his south. So it just depends on how you're sitting and your orientation around the table. Now, from my perspective, where I'm sitting, they're both coming from the left. But as you can tell, I oriented them so just to simulate what it would be like if you were sitting on the left side of the table. Okay? So I probably over-explained that, but let's now talk dynamics. So at the beginning of combat, you are going to know some information. That information is that first card right there. So we know what's happening there. We don't know what the siege card says. And then later in the game, you see there's little spots here. There's going to be more of those red cards, but they're not going to be face up. So you only know that one face up card, and that's all you know. Now in season 1, your very first turn of the game, that card is the only one that comes out, plus the siege card, right? So there's a real solid chance that this is the only direction you're going to receive attacks from. You might get attacked from that siege card, but you can, at the very start, before combat begins, place your guys. So I can, for example, place both of my guys here on this wall. But for this example, I'm going to set one on both sides like this. And let's have 2 of these guys over here. I know that's not what the card says, but I'm just giving you a situation. And let's do the same thing on this other guy, this other castle. We'll have 2 guys coming from over here And this time I'm going to put both of my guys facing the archers. So let's assume that those two guys are what popped up on the siege card. Okay, that'll be the scenario we're going to play out. So when you do combat, everything is written on here. And what I'm doing is the combat preparation. Combat preparation, the very first thing you do is you finalize where your soldiers are going to stand. And yes, it does matter because these soldiers are going to be able to attack the guys in this field. Everything's orthogonal in this game. These soldiers can't attack anybody here or here, and certainly not back here. Okay, and sorry about my dog. If she continues to bark, I'll pause. I think we're okay. All right, so that's the first thing to understand. The second thing is okay, well, now we do the reveal. So this is where we would reveal that card that's face down right now. And let's just assume that that card put these two guys here. And that's where we're at right now in the combat steps. Okay, so next thing would be the archery phase. Now, eventually you're going to be able to build turrets and have a turret. And we'll talk about those when they get built. But for right now, the archery phase is very simple. Every guy on a wall gets to shoot, and every archer on the ground shoots back. And the way you resolve it is the guys on the ground shoot. Well, okay, so it's mutual self-destruction. Let's put it that way, mutual destruction. This guy will kill one, and then both of these will kill two. Well, there's only one up here, so this one will die. Now, your soldiers that are yours, they go into the infirmary, so they get wounded. They don't actually get killed. You'll hear me use the word killed. That's not what it means. And then this one over here is an archer, so he would shoot and hurt one, and that's it. These aren't archers, so they don't fire back. They're just walking around with their big swords. Okay. Then what we would do is we would go to a move phase, so I can move this guy around if I wanted to. And then we would do so like over here in this situation. Let's just play along. The two archers shoot. They injure both of these guys, but we kill both of the archers. Nobody does anything to them, and nothing happens. Well, then what happens next is the melee phase. So there's one guy standing here, there's one guy standing here, so they would damage the wall. One damage each. And then that wood that's in there actually goes into your stockpile. You get to keep it. It doesn't go back into supply. And then you start over. You keep repeating. So now we go to an archery phase again. This one would archer kill this. This one would archer kill nobody. But then we go to the move phase. So now I'm going to try to move to here, right? And then this guy does a melee phase, so he's going to damage the wall. All right, one more hit and that wall's destroyed. Then we start at the top again. We do the archer phase. I kill the archer wounds me. But I do survive the battle. I have 2 damage on these walls and 1 damage on that wall. That's how the battle works. Now in this scenario, we're in trouble. I had all my guys on the wall where the archers were, so they would go to the melee phase and damage the wall. Then we start over and I have no guys left. So nobody kills them. They don't hurt anybody because the archery phase. And then they would damage this wall. And then we'd go to a third round and they would just charge in and I have nobody there to kill them. So then they would sack my town and there would be a lot of crying and weeping children. So these had the same exact attackers with the same number of defenders. But you can see there's a scenario where good decision making led to winning the scenario, and then bad decision making led to losing. So this is something you need to be aware of. And when you're making your plans, you at least have a high level understanding of how combat works. So you understand the importance of having troops to defend it, and etc. Okay? So this is one of those games where you have to understand the end of the season in order to understand what to do at the beginning. So I hope that helped. And we'll get into it more when we get going. The other thing that happens at the beginning of every round, and you could have done this during setup, is there's 3 spots here for the 3 buildings, so we're going to fill them in. So there's a tabernacle, a chapel, and a farrier. Okay, the thing to understand is this is the cost to build it. So somebody would have to spend 2 wood and 1 iron to get a tabernacle. This has that special symbol that this guy needs for end game scoring. So he's salivating over it. And remember, that's a secret objective. Nobody else knows that. This one up here, that's 1 gold at the end of the game. That's basically points for you. What does it do for you? Well, what it does is this little thing is basically, it's an exhaust action or a tap or whatever. You can spend 1 food to get 1 gold and 1 troop. And that would be a soldier that is loyal to you and stays with you. So that's what this is. And basically once per season, you get to do this. This one, once per season, you're gonna heal 2 guys from the infirmary. And this one is an action spot. So if you put a worker here, you're going to gain 5 movement points, which we haven't really described very well, and then 1 secret objective at the end of the game. So you could get more than 1. You can actually have unlimited. So you can get more secret objectives. But like I said, you have to actually put a worker there to be able to get that. To build those buildings, you would have to go to the building space, which is at the top. We have a mercenary action where if you go on this side and you spend 5 coins. Now remember, coins or gold in this case is victory points. So you're spending victory points to get things. That's the weird thing about this game is you can hoard all your victory points, but then you're going to lose because you can't defend your castle. So you have to walk this tightrope of giving up victory points in order to get them. Okay, and that's where I think to me the real strategy is to this game is what's the right balance of giving up to get. So here you're giving up 5 to get 3 troops that stay with you for the rest of the game. Now one thing to understand about troops that's very important is you do have to pay food upkeep for them. And if you don't have enough food, then you lose gold. So these guys, you have to maintain them. Here, 3 gold will get you 5 mercenaries. 5 mercenaries is better than 3 of those. However, at the end of the season, they leave you. And there's nothing you can do to get them back other than to do this action again the next turn and get 5 more. Okay? If you go to the right side, then you just have different costs and different numbers. All right, so there's 2 of your actions that are available to you in this game. We also have the action of mining, where you go here, you get 2 iron. You go here to the wood mill, you get 5 wood. You go to the quarry, you get 3 stone. Pretty simple. Then up here, you have the tax action. If you tax, you can get 4 gold and 1 mercenary, or you can get 5 food. It's an or situation. And then the traveling merchant is actually quite powerful. You can spend 4 gold to get 1 iron and 6 wood, or 3 gold to get 2 stone and 3 food. That's on the left side. Or you can spend an iron to get 4 gold and 3 food. Or 2 food to get 3 gold and 2 iron. Now, the astute person might recognize that this is a perpetual motion machine. You could literally go to the buy section, buy these resources, and then turn around and sell them and get more resources back. And the answer is yes. Yes, you can. The situation, though, is obviously other players would have to let you because there's only 3 spots there. And then the other thing is this guy. The traveling merchant, when he does the buy step, he pays 1 less gold. He also does it for refugees, which we haven't talked about yet, but that mercenary camp we just went over, he pays 1 less gold at all 3 of those locations. He gets 2 extra gold from the tax action and from the sell action. So this guy makes serious profit buying and selling from the traveling merchant. Like, I don't think you make any profit. Like, you can buy, so let's say you spent 7 gold over here to buy all this, and then if you sold that, you would get your 7 gold back, but you would overall have a lot more resources, right? With this guy, you're actually making gold profit from buying and selling. it's not as easy as it looks. And my only advice I give you is, if you're playing a multiplayer game and somebody's exploiting this, it is your job to block it. You need to go there yourself and not let them exploit this. And it's fully within your power and the power of the other players to prevent that guy with that particular card from running away with the game. They will run away with the game, by the way, if you don't block it. Okay. With that said, the last thing here we have is refugees. Well, actually, we have scout up there. We'll talk about that in a second. So the refugees in the game, the first one is diplomat. So you have to spend this to get it. These are gold points at the end of the game. You can ignore one invader card this season. I cannot stress enough how important that one might be. And then this one is a quarry dude. I wonder if that's actually the medieval term for that. You get +2 every time you use the quarry. That's actually a really good one to get in the beginning of the game like this. The scout action at the top. When you do the scout action, you get to take 2 of these secret endgame scoring cards. You get to keep 1. So you draw 2, keep 1. And then you get to take 1 farm protection and 3. That's a 3 there. 3 movement points. Okay, so what are... first of all, let's go back to our scenario here. Remember when these 2 archers were here? Anytime you have enemies invading orthogonally, which is always the case, it's always orthogonally, but the point I'm trying to make is these 2 are on this side. They're going to burn the field. And so if this field was a level 2 field, it would burn down to a level 1. Doesn't matter how many troops there are, it just goes down 1 level. And if it's a level 1, it gets burned to a level 0. That's how you represent level 0. Okay? You can prevent the burning if you have this little farm shield. So that scout action gives you one of these farm shields. That's one of the ways you get it. Another way you get it is my ranger here gives me one every season. But that's one of the ways, okay? I thought there was something else I wanted to explain real quick here. Oh, the movement. So remember how I said this is the only card that's revealed, and then these other 3 spots here, here, and here, or even like that siege card, right, is not revealed. So I could have put my guys here, right, thinking, oh my gosh, Ermagerd, I have to worry about the attack from this direction. And then we reveal all those cards and realize that there's actually 14 guys over here coming from this direction. So I may need to move my troops over. Well, if you look at the phases here, you do the archery phase first, and then you get to move. So all kinds of stuff happens, and then of course they damage the wall, blah, blah, blah. But if you have movement points, which are these little telescopes, what you do is you just spend a telescope, and for every telescope you spend, you can move 1 guy. So if I have 3 movement points, I can move 3 guys over, and now they're protecting that wall. And I can do it after all the information is revealed. It is the only way you can move after all the information is revealed is with those telescopes. And this character gets one of those every round. Now, don't get ahead of yourself. You might be thinking, boy, you just picked the most powerful character in the game. Sort of. Some of these other cards are really good, though. We'll see. Okay, now, finalizing the actions that you can do. The infirmary, there's 2 action spots here, but every time a guy goes here, you heal 4 guys. There's no cost, it's just boom, they're healed, okay? This one, the stockpile, basically is 100 things in one, but basically you could repair all your walls, your turrets, you can build new walls and new turrets, and you can heal your refugees, and you can fix your burned down buildings. All of that is done in 1 action. So this is a very big action. The granary one lets you sow 3 times. And then you have to put a protection down. So what does sow mean? Well, if I had a burn, basically I increase it by a level. So I go from level 0 to level 1. That's 1 time. This would be 2 times. And then for this, that'd be a 3rd time, right? So I sow 3 times, and then I get to put a protection on one of them. That's what that action does. There are some free actions. You start the game with this. You can spend a food to heal a guy without having to do the firm reaction. You can spend an iron to get a guy. This is very costly, by the way, but it's still handy and used. So I apologize. There's just a lot to go over there. I went through it pretty quick. I think it'll become very apparent as we play. And without further ado, let's get going. So player order is blue goes first. That would happen to be the one in front of me. So what do we want to do? Well, I get extra points at the end of the game if I have the most stone in my stockpile. I'm not necessarily concerned about that immediately. However, it does mean that I probably want to get a lot of stone, right? So some of the things that I'm contemplating will go around that. And I think you might already know what I want to do. First thing I'm going to do, and I almost always do this right away. There's no point in waiting. This is just a free action. So I'm going to turn this sideways and I get my one movement and one protection. Okay. I know they're coming this way. So my protection is going to go on that side just to protect that farm. That's an easy peasy. Now, which of these do you put the protection on? That part would be a harder decision, but this side was a no-brainer. These protections, by the way, go away at the end of the round. There's no hoarding them. They don't last. So if you put them somewhere where you didn't need it, too bad, too sad. Okay, so what am I going to do for my actual action, though? I only have 3. This is the other thing that makes this game so tight. You only have 3 actions. And you're going to be like, oh my gosh, there was like 100 things I wanted to do, and you won't be able to do them. All right, so what I want to do is get this quarry. And the quarry will let me get +2 stone anytime I do a quarry action. But here's the thing that sucks about this, is this is one of my 3 and only 3 actions I have this round. It's really difficult. It's not worth any points at the end of the game. However, it does give me a huge bonus. And to get this on the first season, this is the right call. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this. It's 2 food and 1 gold. So coming back to here, I had to go into the refugee action spot to take that. And coming back to here, I have to spend 2 food. And then the 1 gold is just spent up here. So we just go down 1 gold. Also, I want to point out something else that's a little brilliant. These little swords here and the big 10 and fire, that's the designer's way of warning you that if you go to here, most of those cards are going to punish you. Like the levels of punishment from the invaders goes up as soon as you cross that threshold. Now, it's been my experience that, like, for example, the card that's out now, it's at 6. And then the next one isn't until 18. So just because you're here doesn't mean you will be punished, but it's sort of like their way of warning you. Okay, my turn's over. So now we go to purple. Purple's next, and I apologize. I'm trying to control 4 players all at once here. So purple, let's remind ourselves what they're doing. They want the least flags, but that doesn't mean they want to lose the game. And they have the merchant action. So this is a no-brainer for them. They're going to go here to the traveling merchant. This is their skill that they took, and they want to use it. And this is what I meant by you need to block it if you can. So what they're going to do is they're going to go here, and they're going to take this top action here. So they're going to spend 4 gold. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they drop to 2. They're going to spend 4 gold, and they're going to get 1 iron and 6 wood. And we just put all that over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I'm just piling everything up there. So that's they got themselves a nice little haul. And they didn't spend 4 gold because, like I said, they have that ability. They spent 1 less gold, so they go back up to 3. So that only cost him 3 gold to do. Okay. Well, technically, I already used this. Never mind. Okay, next up is red. So we're going to go over to the red player. I'm sorry, I'm moving this camera around so much. Let me zoom it out a little. Okay, red's objective is they need to have the most of that particular building card. So they're looking at this tabernacle here and eyeing it up. Now that tabernacle is not necessarily helpful in the first turn, but sort of is. And here's the thing. This little X here means that at the end of the season, this card goes away. Those other cards stay. But if you're looking to buy a card, now's the time to buy it, or otherwise that card's going away. So I'm probably not playing this perfectly as a 4-player game. Like, buying that card is probably like fantasy football. You don't need to take a kicker in the first round. Chances are that card's going to be available for the final action. So he probably is better spent getting resources or something else. So I usually do stuff like that because I'm trying to myopically play the role of each player. But in doing so, they make stupid choices, right? Because there's only 2 spots here, or, you know, whatever. So for this particular guy, what would he do, knowing that that tabernacle is probably going to be available in the final round? What he would do is he would do a wood mill and get 5 wood. So let's do that for him. And why would he do that? Well, there's only 2 spots. So he has to claim it now while the claiming's good. He can always buy that building later. Now, obviously, somebody can go buy that building before him, but probably not. Okay, so next we go to the final player, which is green over here. And remember, they need to get everything up to stone. So they're going to do this, and their refugee has the ability that gives them, they get +1 from the quarry at all times. So they're going to go there right now and get 1, 2, 3. They're getting 4 stone. Oh, that's 5. They're getting 4 stone instead of 3 because that's their special ability. All right. So that is already, you know, 1 full round. And then we go back to the first player, which is the one in front of me, blue here. Okay, what do we want to do next? We did our thing where we have this quarry dude that gives us +2. Well, we noticed that the quarry action got taken by the last guy, so we're going to go in and take the quarry. So let's do that. So now we get 3 from the action, but we get 2 more from this, so we're going to get 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's our whole action. And just a reminder, I'm down to just 1 guy left. I mean, this goes so fast, folks. And you're like, huh? We're done already? And so anyways, the situation's real. Let's put it that way. Okay, now we go to purple. Purple just wants the least flags. Last action, they did the tax thing. Purple was noticing, oh my gosh, nobody took the traveling merchant again. So this is their special ability, right? So they're going to come here and they're going to do, we did the 1 iron and 6 wood last time. So what else do they need? I mean, they're going to, they don't necessarily need iron, but they could use some stone, for example. And so they're going to come here again. And this time they're going to spend 2 gold for 2 stone and 3 food. So they're going to spend 2 and go down to 1. And they get 2 stone and 3 food. All right, that's purple. So yeah, they're maximizing that thing. Now we go to red. Red. What did we do with red? Okay, we went to the wood mill last time. Well, red's realizing, oh my gosh, we're running out of stuff, so they're going to go take the final quarry action and get 3 stone. So that's red's action. And then we go to green. Green's looking at the situation. They needed a lot of stone. They're going to go to the wood mill. They need 5 wood. Or, do they? Actually, green. Here's a viable strategy. This attack card, see how it has 6 written on it? You only get attacked if there's 6 gold. So what green's going to do is they're going to go to the traveling merchant, which is what purple's been hogging up, right? And they're going to spend 1, 2, 3, 4 gold, which puts them below the 6 number. And they're going to do that to get 1 iron and 6 wood, which is more wood than the wood mill would have given them if they just went to the wood mill action. So you see how I switched it? But they did lose 4 gold. However, by doing what they did, they prevented themselves from getting attacked. So there's a bit of a strategy there. And it's up to you on whether or not you think that's viable. You can call it a little bit chicken little, or not chicken little, but just being chicken. But it is what it is, right? So we'll play the red player. He'll boldly go where no man's gone before and stay above the 6. You can see the other 3 are not. Let's play it out like that. We're going to make 6 our paladin type who never backs down, and see if that plays out properly. Okay, so that was green. So now we're back to blue. What's blue going to do? Well, we've been getting resources. We've been, putzing and putzing here. I think what I want to do is I'm going to go to the refugee again. We're going to go here and we're going to get the other one. This is 2 gold at the end of the game. So right now, though, we have to spend 2 gold. So we're going to lose 2 points now, but we get it back. And then we lose 2 food, which that part stinks. But I'm going to lose 2 food and 2 gold. But now we have a guy that lets us ignore an invader card. Invader cards are big, big deals. Now, note that it does not say siege card. So we got into a big debate with people about that, but I'm pretty sure the designers meant that it's invader card, not siege. In fact, I'm going to look that up real quick. The card is literally called the invader card, the red cards. Okay. But trust me, folks, that's still an awesome card. Okay, blue's done. Now we go to purple. Well, as you see, even though I didn't put the meeple up properly, the traveling merchant is closed. He's been used up. So purple's been taking advantage of that so much. But what purple's going to do is we're going to do the stockpile action. And he's going to build. So what can he build and how can he build it? Well, I'm going to put my camera down. That's here. For 3 wood, he builds a wooden wall. He's got 4 wooden walls already. So the only time you do this is if one gets destroyed. For 4 wood, he can build a turret, and enemy siege engines target these ones highest priority, these ones second highest, and then the walls third. Okay? That's just how the enemy sieges work. This is for healing your damaged guys. These 2 things only happen when you're sacked. Okay? You have to be sacked before either of these things happen. So the repair costs aren't necessary unless you've been sacked. This happens if somebody actually destroys a turret. The stone turrets don't get destroyed. They just get damaged. These ones, all 3 of these can get destroyed. Okay? Once you understand those mechanics, then the rest becomes a little easier. So I'm looking at his resources, and I know I have 4 stone, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wood. Okay? I can spend 3 wood, 4 stone, and 1 iron and get a stone tower right away. And there's varying strategies on this as well, but the towers are pretty darn good. You're going to want them. Okay? Now, what does this little asterisk mean? It just means that if I already had a wooden tower and I'm upgrading it to a stone tower, I don't have to pay the wood fee. So in this case, we have wooden walls. If I want to build a regular wall, I can. I got the same 4 stone, right? I just don't have to pay the 2 wood. And that might be a viable strategy because here I'm spending 3 wood, 4 and 1 just to get a stone tower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I said I have 9. So if I want a wooden tower, I can build 2 of these for 8. Or I can build 1 of these and 1 of those, right, for the same costs. I don't have enough wood to build a third one. So either way, I'm going to have 2 towers. But I can build 2 of these and a stone wall. Or I'm just building these 2 towers. Which of the 2 do I prefer? Honestly, again, this is where your strategy kicks in, and I don't know if there's a best answer, but I'm going to do the 2 and 1 in this case, okay? So with that being said, let me show you how it gets processed. So the 4 stone, for example, is going to be used to build a stone wall. And I happen to have one here, and I'm going to build the one that has the gate. This one. The gate has 4 hit points, whereas the other walls have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to upgrade our gate, and you can easily tell which one's the gate because it only has 1 hit point. And so we're going to put this in and get our gate a little bit stronger. All right, this wood that's in here, you actually get to keep it. This game is like a very perpetual motion machine type of game. There is no energy lost in this game, unless they actually destroy a wall. That's the only time you're spending. But the hit points and everything, you get to keep. And here's what's even crazier. The stone I just spent goes into the wall as hit points. So if that ever gets damaged, I get to keep those. I actually didn't lose the stone. It's mine still. So I basically upgraded it for free, essentially. I mean, okay, so then we're going to build some wooden towers. So that costs 4. So we got 4 here, and then 4 more here, right? And that's all I can afford. So let me put the camera down while I grab some wooden towers here. There's one, and here's another. So coming back over to here, I'm going to put a wooden tower here in this corner, and it just makes logical sense to cover both corners. Now, what do the towers do? They shoot orthogonally in each direction. The wooden towers shoot once, the stone towers shoot twice. And it's both directions, not just, you don't pick a direction. They shoot once in each direction, both ways. And then they both have a spot for you to keep a resource. So basically the wooden towers have 2 hit points. So of all the wood that I'm spending, I get to keep 2 of them. And then the rest go back in the box. So what else could I have done? Well, I could have repaired any walls that were damaged. And then, like I said, heal my guys. But that's it. That's his turn and his final action. So he upgraded his castle big time, which is funny because he's sitting here at 1 gold, and he's probably the least in danger of everybody. And then we go to red, and red's going to be doing... He wants to do that action, but I forgot that he's buying that building. So red is going to go here and buy this building. So he's going to spend 2 wood and 1 iron. We're going to take this building, which, just as a quick reminder, is his endgame objective, which is have the most cards. And see how he has that symbol? Now, why is this so important? Folks, you can play an entire game where another one of these doesn't even come up. Let me just be clear about that. That's not a guarantee that you're going to get all these symbols all the time. And the fact that he has one, he already got his endgame objective. Until somebody else buys one that has that same symbol, he has no pressure to buy another one again. So, and then we talked about how this guy is going to try not to spend any gold and just be the leader the whole game. So let's try that strategy with him. And this is actually not a bad card because we're going to use this free action right away. He's going to spend a food. He gets a gold and a troop. So we're going to do that right now. So he's going to get a gold, which right here moves him up to 8. And then we give him a troop, which goes inside. And then his action is he can heal somebody in the infirmary and get a mercenary. So we're going to give him a mercenary, which you haven't seen yet, but those are the blue guys. So that goes to him. And then over here, if you really wanted to go bonkers, he could spend an iron to get another troop, but he's not going to. He actually doesn't have any iron, so it doesn't even matter. But so basically, he's got to bulk up. Excuse me, if he wants to survive. Okay, so now we go to green and his final action. And I believe green is going to build. Let me think about this. Green does not have a lot of stone, so green may not want to build, but I'm looking at all the other actions available to him, and he really doesn't have much. Oh, and then look at me. I forgot to fill in his hit points, didn't I? I'm just checking everybody else to make sure they have all theirs. All right, so green can go to the wood mill and get some wood, but wood doesn't help him because remember, wood is not getting his endgame objective. The traveling merchants used up, the refugees are gone. He can buy a building, but I don't know if that's necessarily a good use of his time. Although the infirmary thing is pretty cool. There's a chapel here. So let me show you that the chapel is. This ability to automatically heal 2 guys without having to spend an action is quite good and only costs 1 wood. Could he just, do a stockpile and build some stuff? Absolutely, he can. One of the strategies in this game is to just build up your stockpile quite a bit. And then, because your stockpile action, you get to build unlimited things as long as you can afford it. So there's a big strategy of don't waste actions building every season. Build up over a couple seasons and then do 1 action and only 1 and just build a whole crap ton of stuff all at once. So that's what we're going to do here. Because this opening charge, I don't think is going to be very big. We may not even get attacked at all at his current gold level. So we're going to go ahead and grab this chapel. It doesn't give us any endgame points, but like I said, this is action economy. All about the action economy in this game. So we'll spend 1 wood, and he got himself a chapel. And of course the worker goes on the board, but he's the very last player that gets to go. Okay, so that ends the worker placement portion of the game. Next thing we do is we move into combat. So I'm going to pause the video real quick so I can go get a drink. And then when I come back, we'll resolve combat. Okay, so when we start the combat phase, like I said, everybody knows this information here. And you get a chance to set your guys up on the walls and arrange them accordingly. So for example, this guy is going to put his mercenary on this wall and then maybe 1 other one. And then he can even do something like this, but he'll actually put 3 there. Right, so you have to finalize that with everybody. And this would be the direction for this guy. And same here. It's a little time consuming when you're the only one controlling all 4 players. This goes really fast, of course, when you actually have 4 human beings doing this. So I'm going to grab the cards and bring them a little closer so we can quit moving the camera back and forth. So, like I said, I'm going to move these out of the way because these are tokens that we sometimes need, but not always. And get this out of the way. So this was the Invader card. It's the only Invader card that's going to happen in Season 1. There is a chart in the rulebook that shows how that works. But in, for example, Season 2, there will be a face up plus a face down, just 1. Then in Season 3, there'll be 2 face down. And then after that, there's 3. So this is all we have. And then from a siege perspective, we have this. Okay, so taking you real slowly through this for the first time. first thing, like I said, we have to place our guys, which I just did. Then we reveal. And reveal is all of the cards. We reveal them all. And then we resolve the siege cards. Well, and the invader. But what the resolve means is you place them on the board. You place the attackers. So normally, like I said, you have to have an agreement on which way you're switching these. Because if you flip them one way or another, and then you do that. So like in this case, the siege card and this are both aligned in the same direction. But like I said, I roll a die. And I rolled a 3, which means they're actually aligned in the same direction. So what does this siege card do? It's ladders. So there's 2 types of siege cards. You're either going to get the kind that do damage to your walls, or in this case, it's saying that the enemies can jump over your wall for free. Like they don't actually destroy the wall. During the melee step, they just climb right over it because they have ladders. So this is the number of gold, right? So if you have 2 gold or more, then 1 enemy is going to be able to scale your wall. If you're over 12 gold, then 3 of them will, etc. So these 2 go together. Now, this piece here is used every season, and this is the siege card. That's going to say one of 3 things. It's either going to say all, none, or leader. And it's luck, folks. It's total luck. If it's none, then we ignore this. If it's leader, then only the leader does this. But in this case, it's all. That means everybody does this. So what does this mean? All, you'd look at the season number, and that many soldiers arrive. So let's resolve the siege card first, because that is technically what the rulebook says. So everybody's getting 1 swordsman because we're on season 1. If this was season 7, you're getting 7 swordsmen coming from that direction. And that's in addition to anything that happens down here. So 1. And this is happening no matter how much gold you have. They're always getting 1, no matter how much gold you have. Okay, because there's no gold requirement for this banner. The gold requirements are for the bottom. So these siege cards are nasty. They're the worst cards in the game. Now here, as I explained, if you have less than 6 gold, you ignore this entire card. And that's exactly what we do. We ignore the entire card. And I will check real quick. But like if you had less than 2 gold, which one of our guys does have less than 2, can he ignore this? I don't think the answer's there. Okay, so I took some time to try to find it in the rulebook. The rulebook really doesn't address this situation. But if you piece everything together, it does say that this is for all players, which that's what it means. And you don't use the gold values to determine anything. So what I'm trying to say is we're doing it right. However, this one is very straightforward. Only the people with 6 or more have to do something. So if we look at our gold values, 3 of the players are less than 6. This is the only one that has more than 6. So he has 8. So he's going to get 2 archers. So we're going to put 2 archers here for his attack. And everybody else doesn't have any archers on theirs. So this is the only one. He's going to have 3. Everybody else has only 1. Okay? So combat. We're going to resolve them one at a time. I'll go through it step by step. And first thing that happens is he's here, so they raise the farm. That happens automatically. There's no way to stop that unless they had a protection. Okay? So then the next thing is the archery phase. So these 2 are going to shoot, but not this guy. And then all 3 of these guys shoot. So we kill all 3 of them because it's 1 for 1. These 2 are going to kill 2. Well, we're going to kill off the mercenary. And then we're just going to injure this guy. And then he goes into the infirmary. The mercenary goes out of the game. You know, back into supply, I meant. And I don't know, there was an earthquake. I guess this was Jericho. And that was Joshua that just walked around 7 times. But anyways, that's it. That was the battle. The archery phase ended it. We took 2 hits. One of them was a mercenary hit, and the other one was this one. Now, this guy doesn't care because he can heal 1 guy for free every season. So this guy will heal without even having to do an action. So that's the awesome sauce about this red player. Now we go to us. We do the raising. I have a protection, so he doesn't touch my farm. I have 2 archers. He's a nobody, dead. We get over to here. The farm gets raised, so I do need to grab one. This guy gets killed though. 2 archers. Well, actually, even a turret would have killed him, so it doesn't matter. And then we get here, and it's the same issue. We have a raised farm. What everybody was banking on is that they wouldn't have an actual soldier attacking them. But anyways, 2 archers, kill them. This first season is not a very threatening season. But after this, it gets very tough. So then these cards get discarded at the end of the battle. All right. The other steps of combat will become more apparent as we get more and more seasons going. This first one, of course, was very simple and easy. All right, so what happens? Well, again, we'll start with red, and then we'll go through each one. So the first thing that happens is you have 1, 2. I should probably do the first thing that happens is we give out flags. So the red player is clearly the winning player right now, and everybody survived. And this flag goes to whoever survived and did not get sacked and is the winning player, and that would be red. So red gets that flag, and that's an endgame point. So that's what we mean by getting flags. So that's the first thing that happens. Second thing is farms. So red here made 1, 2, 3 food, and then they had to spend 1, 2, 3 food. Even the injured guys have to eat. Okay, so basically they gain no net food. And I'm not going to go through all 4 players yet. We'll do this one to completion, and then we'll move to the next player. So after this, we do the we gain gold. So he has 4 pieces, 4 castle pieces. So he's going to gain 4 gold. So he goes from 8 to 12 over here. Okay, so he went from here to there. I think that's everything. I don't remember. Yeah, harvest and feast. And then we flags, income. Oh, we would do turn order as well. So this one has 4, 4, and this is actually 6. It's still just 4 pieces, even though he has a stone wall, but he has the 2 turrets, which makes it 6. So when we're doing our gold here, blue gets 1, 2, 3, 4. Green gets 1, 2, 3, 4. But this guy gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he actually moved up. So now blue is the first player, purple, and then green, and then red switch. And it's just whoever has the least amount of gold goes first. So yes, folks, there is real strategy in intentionally having the lowest gold so you can get to go first. I don't want to, make you think otherwise. There's definitely a solid play there. It's just be careful, because if you do that for too long, you won't be able to catch up. Okay, and then now we have to do the feeding. So everybody else has only 2 soldiers. And by the way, you would never have to feed a mercenary. So here I'm going to gain 4 food, spend 2, so I get a net gain of 2 food, which I needed. I had 0. Okay, coming over to here, I gain 3 food, have to spend 2, so I get a net gain of 1. And then this guy, same deal, 3 minus 2, he gets 1. All right, so that was the food. We are almost at the end of the round, so then you just got to do end of round cleanup. Well, everybody's going to get their workers back. I won't make you watch me do that part. But the next thing that happens is this thing moves up. What is this thing? I didn't explain that yet. What this does is, you know how we did this little trick where we were hovering around 1 gold? And then the invader said you needed to have 6. So since we were less than 6, we didn't have to deal with any armies. Well, what this is saying is that the threshold is now 3. So if we ever reveal a card that says 3 or more, you're going to get attacked by 2 archers, for example. And you have 1 gold, you still get attacked. And then once this goes up, it just keeps moving up again and again. And so that game of that you might be thinking of playing where you don't have enough gold so nobody attacks you the whole game, that doesn't work because this thing is going to keep moving up. And then by season 3, it's going to be at 6. So that card we just had, if it was season 3, we would have been guaranteed all of us would have been attacked. It doesn't matter what our gold value was. Okay? So it's just basically, again, there's a lot of really brilliant things these designers did. It just prevents you from exploiting some of the game mechanics. And right now at 0 and 3, it's pretty low. But as the seasons go on, it becomes a lot more apparent that there's no hiding from these invaders. The next thing you do is for the refugees and for the buildings, if there was a card on the X, it would get flushed. I don't know, just discarded. And then you reveal whatever missing spots there are. So let's go over those real quick. The Master Fletcher, you can repeat this action 2 times. So you can spend 2 wood to get a troop. That's an interesting one. I never saw that one before. And this one is a arrogant noble. In this little down arrow means immediately you get 2 troops, but that's it. That card doesn't do anything for you the rest of the game. However, you do get two buckaroos at the end of the game, and then pay attention, there's that symbol. Actually, we got 2 of them with that symbol. So the red player might be a little nervous if somebody takes one of those. All right, and then as far as the building goes, this just moves down, and then we reveal this one, which is the Master Smithy. So you every season, you just get a new troop. Boy, I told you that you might go a whole game without seeing this symbol, and this game is just trying to make me look like a liar, aren't they? And then here we got another one. Oh, there's the symbol again. Oh my gosh. This is the archery range. For every 2 that are together, and we're talking about on a wall, you deal +1 archery damage. I actually really like that card. That's a very good card. All right, I think that covers everything. We just did a full round of this game. Now, oh, never mind, hold on. The other thing you have to do is this gets created, this gets revealed, and then because we're on season 2, that's gonna be face down. This moves up, and now we're ready for the next round. Although, as you know, I'm doing a little variant here where I'm rolling the die. So what this guy is it's gonna be coming from that direction. We just rotate it around. So there's the information we know. There's information we don't know, there and there. And so now the game, the real game, is afoot. That first round is just a teaser. To me, the first round is just an opportunity to snatch up some cards and hoard some resources. Round 2 is where the real game starts. And unfortunately, I won't be able to record round 2 until much later, but I will at least get this uploaded for you. And this is after the Empire. I think it's a very light war game. It has some awesome worker placement and castle defense. I think that each piece by themselves is not very brilliant, but the whole thing together, I really enjoy this game. It's a lot of fun. It scratches a lot of itches, and I totally recommend it, and I hope that you'll agree after you see a playthrough of this. Thanks for watching. Stay awesome.